yeah, like I don't know what they think we eat, but they just have this warped perception that we're freaks. And the things we do, they just don't comprehend that it could just be a simple process to be a healthier and fitter version of themselves.
Yo, welcome to the Elite Table Talk, where we unpack health professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, and just everyday people, and looking at their lifestyle, their mindset, their routines, and we see what they have done to help them move forward and really just get more time back in the day. You know, most people say there's 24 hours in the day, but there's really 16 because we sleep for 8. But how do we get the most out of those 16? So grab a pen, get some paper, let's make some notes. Let's see what we can get from this episode today. Let's go. Yo, welcome to the new revolutionized Elite Table Talk. Yes, we have changed the name, and thus we are bringing on another exceptional person. Now, this person's name is Josh Buss. I'm really excited to have him because I believe he's someone of an elite status. But Karl, how can you guarantee that? Well, we both attend an event called the Elite Immersion, therefore elite. Josh, there's hundreds of people that attend this event, and Josh seems to be the person that, it's a 3-day event. I'll ignore the guy for a day. I'm like, I'll connect to other people. And just long and behold, we always technically end up sitting next to each other the second or third day. So for me, it was really, I'm really excited to have Josh on because he was as excited as me. Well, he's letting me think that. And we got Josh on here today to talk more about his story, how he got into the fitness industry, and then also a little bit more about epigenetics. So that's the bonus episode, so stay tuned. So Josh, thanks for coming on. Really excited to have you.
Thanks heaps, mate. No, I appreciate that. There is some sort of gravitational field that works over those events. And yeah, I think you attract what you put out, right? So you're definitely putting out some weird vibes, as I am too. So connecting on a good level.
It is comical because the last event we were attending, I don't know, for those that know ChatGPT, this is the width of my little study. So obviously I geek in the corner, and Kate's outside having a sleep. I'll be up late at night or in the morning, and I'll just be exploring ChatGPT, asking it stupid questions. And I find it really interesting how, one, people think it's the end of the world, but two, thinking it's a tool that people can use to really improve, well, for me, definitely spell check. And then at the last event, guess who's presenting about AI and the power of it? Josh. So, we both geek out, and we actually don't really talk to each other for the last 3 months. We hadn't chatted, but we both we're geeking on similar things. So really excited to have you on. But yeah, the first, I think we'll just go straight to the gut of it. Yep. Mate, when you started, what was with the blonde surfy hair? What happened?
Blonde surfy hair was in school. So I think just the cool guys that were older had it. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So longer hair, blonde. I know you could hide behind it a bit too. So I guess there's a bit of confidence there as well.
Oh,
there was definitely an emo phase. And I was actually at a mall park the other day, and Simple Plan was playing, which was like one of my favorite bands. And I was like, I couldn't stop laughing because all the emos were hanging out. I was like, damn, I used to do that. But yeah, that was kind of the start of the story, right? Like out of school, didn't get the job that I wanted. Friends like, hey, why don't you get into personal training? He's like, I know you've been training for years, even though it didn't look like it. He's like, I think you just need a bit of extra knowledge, and then you'll be able to, really make something of it. So that kind of turn your pain into power sort of thing really helped the start of that evolution.
Pain into power, love it. And what was the first job you wanted?
It was like parents forcing a safe job. So my dad worked for the railways. He was pretty decent spot in the railways. It was always comfortable. He got a good salary. So he was trying to force me into their apprenticeships. And it was like so hard. It took me, I tried 3 times and still didn't get in.
3 times? Wow. Nah, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Feedback.
The feedback was terrible. It's like you took charge in a session where it was like, build this train setup so you could be more efficient and stuff. No one talked, and I talked, and they're like, no, you meant to let other people. I was like, oh, frustrating. So
you didn't get it because you talked?
Because I took the lead, but there was no one talking, so it was super awkward.
Well, I'm going to have to stop this podcast, and we're just going to sit here for 40 minutes and
analyze it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it happened again. So straight after I did PT for a while, which I can dive back to, but I worked on the power lines, and took me 2-3 attempts to get into there as well. So just hard. Different processes.
we've gone into rail raid. You talk, mate, you're taking the lead. Can't have that. Then you went to study fitness.
I did fitness for 2-3 years. Yep.
And then went into power lines.
Yeah, I did, like, in those years, there's probably another year in between where I worked as a freight handler for like Star Trek and Coles. So I learned that I never want to be a manual working person. Like, processes outside's different, but just in a warehouse, just nightmare.
Yep. Power lines. And that's how you got bonded. You electrocuted yourself.
Yeah, just a couple of years before. But yeah, so yeah, super interesting. I think the thing that I failed on that was like the magic squares. Have you ever done that? It was like the thing, but I got it wrong. It wasn't magic squares. I thought it was for 2 years. It was just like the pattern in the square.
Yep.
And then when I learned that, I got it. I was like, mother.
Yeah, I remember there was like a bunch of mates on the bus. They're all applying for Coles. Like Coles had just opened up in town, and so everyone was recruiting for McDonald's, Coles, and IGA, and Woolies, which was in Hornsby. And they all did the tests. There was 13 of us, and I was the only one that didn't get in.
Yeah.
And I applied twice, and eventually was like, and then
it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense because they just want like sheep, right? People that can just follow things and whatnot. So yeah.
Well, I made it from the start to the finish. I followed it, but well, I then learned, and I think I was like, stuff that. And then I remember the next day, I was tennis coaching, but I wanted a job, and I walked into the bakery, and I was like, "Hey, you guys hiring?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're looking for a cleaner." And I just learned, just walk in, ask for what you want. Don't sit on a computer.
And did you got it?
I got the job. Yeah,
sweet.
I got 6 jobs before PT. And all of them, I just walked in.
Power to you.
I even had one guy goes, "Why aren't you wearing a suit?" And I'm like, "Because this isn't a suit job, and you don't want me to pretend to be someone I'm not." He was like, "Yeah, that's true."
Makes sense.
So yeah, power lines. And so what happened in the 2-3 year stint in fitness?
So I started as a PT in a big box gym.
Yep.
Local RSL, massive gym, knew it was so nice. But being a 18, 19-year-old kid telling older adults how to live their life just isn't that effective. And you have no real life experience and understanding of what actually happens with people. So I think just get a bit burnt out as well. You become a counselor when you're one-on-one. Witness people talking about in our community groups the other day. So feeling a bit burnt out, went and worked in the warehouses, and then I just did PT here and there on the side. And then kind of kept that up until on the power lines, did that for about, I think it was 5 years in the power lines. And then I was like, tried to kick off PT again. I was like, I don't want to do this one-on-one. Went to the groups, so boot camp, and just really enjoyed training people in groups. Like I just found like people weren't as negative. They'd banter with each other. We could do some tests and see improvements.
Weren't just negative.
Like it was really draining. So yeah, just that change. And then we started to notice a bit of progress, was great. And I said to my sister, I'm like, do you want to jump on board? Like this is a great opportunity. I think we can really help a lot of people in the area. Like we're from Western Sydney, Minchinbury, or pretty much Mount Druitt. And it's crazy. I live in Bondi now, and the ratio between overweight in Western Sydney would be like 5 overweight to 1 relatively healthy person. And then in the city, it's like almost 1 fit to 10, like 10 fit to 1 overweight. So just the different demographics and things. So people really need the help and support out here.
Yeah. But let's go back to your initial. Had you done the comp prep then? Like the prepping?
That wasn't even comp.
Okay, so just a body transformation.
Yeah, so I was one of those relentless 12-week challenge people. There was a guy, I don't know if you know him, but Chris Gethin.
Name rings a bell.
He used to own a gym in Australia apparently, but he's a massive Bollywood body transformation person. I didn't realize that until I got into him, and he had this special 12-week program that he did for body prep, comp prep sort of stuff. And I must have failed that like 10 times, but I just kept trying it because I knew the results are there. I just kept falling off track.
Yeah, what happened?
Just enjoying being 18, I think, going out, drinking on the weekends, and that typical cycle, you'd starve yourself to a degree most of the week, and then the weekend, and then you just have to play catch up every week.
Brutal. And you did that 10 times?
Oh, like so many times. Like it was unreal. And then finally I committed. I still went out here and there, but not as much. And just like everything was healthy, made my own pizzas, like tried to still live that way, and paid off.
Yeah, cool. Was there a trigger for you that made you go like, you've done it again and again and again, and then nah?
Yeah, I think I was just sick of not following through on what I said I would do. You know, you fall off track so many times that you just have that inflection point where you're just like, I gotta do it. Like, you know, you have that year 3 teacher in the back of your head, like, you're better than average. Why are you sticking at average?
Was there a thing that you, like, for example, when I was first starting off, it was cut ahead, get the edge, cut performance. Now I'm like, wow, wasn't I like 18 and stupid?
In terms of like approaches, you mean?
Yeah, but there's parts of it that I still kind of use. Like I like the saying, like, you know, cut the bullshit, let's cut ahead.
Oh, yeah. Actually, a perfect one. That is one of the things that helped me. On my phone screen, I had Suffer the Pain of Discipline or Suffer the Pain of Regret. And the screen had like an image of a really muscly lean guy inside a really big fat guy holding the mouth so the food couldn't get in.
Yeah, wow.
And it was just really symbolic and just helped me every time I looked at my phone. I was like, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, wow, that's powerful. What an image.
Yeah.
So big guy with a healthy guy inside holding the mouth shut.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah, wow. I just hear Kate's voice in my head is like, that guy's not in Carl. Shut him up.
He's inside Carl.
Yeah. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah, cool. That is, and so what was it? It was self-discipline?
No, Suffer the Pain of Discipline or Suffer the Pain of Regret.
And was that when you then took it seriously at the 10?
Yeah, it was like, nah, you got to do it, you know. But it's like that whole body dysmorphia thing, right? You get to that point and then you're like, holy shit, there's nothing of me. Like I've been training for like 6 years by then, and I was like, why am I still like skin and bones?
I don't look any different.
Yeah, now I just want to get big again. Like you almost never get happy when you're stuck in that bodybuilder mindset.
Were you a company at that time, or like did you call yourself anything?
No, that was just like cash on the side for ages. Yeah. Yeah, shush.
No.
Hobby business. It wasn't making that much.
Everything was accounted for.
Hobby.
This reminds me when I used to start. I remember when I first started like helping other trainers. I remember one trainer. It's like, so how do you? She's like, I need help. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I have a $30,000 tax bill. I'm like, how? You run a cash business? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how do you deposit your money? She's like, oh, I take all the cash and I put it in the bank account. I'm like, oh, for the love of God. It's not a hobby anymore. She's like,
yeah, no, you definitely made some issue. made some stuff up.
So from the hobby company, you've done 1-to-1 and you've just gone, this isn't working, tired, but you've, looking shredded, looking the business, and gone, this isn't for me. And then you've gone into, like I'm thinking Sparky, but you're saying it's...
Yeah, it's level, they call it level 2. So working on the power lines, either on the lines, the small ones in the street. I did some work on the big tower ones, which was fun, getting climb up, and then some of the connections to like the switchboard. And we did a bit of underground work as well.
Were you still maintaining the physique and the training? And
I was the only apprentice to lose weight versus every other apprentice to put on weight. So goes to show.
Yeah, wow. So most of them put on weight, like just
so the work is like hurry up and wait work because it's so dangerous. You have to wait for the right authorities and things like that to occur. And because I was always on like my Tupperware meals and stuff, like they put so much shit on me. I was just effectively able to keep my weight versus them doing what they were doing.
So we're trying all these things, not quite getting it. Then we did health and fitness for 2 to 3 years. Then we've done 2 to 3 years of line work. And then you've gone back to fit. Oh, you were doing a bit of PT on the side?
Just on the side of it here and there, yep.
Got to be a better way. And then you've decided group fitness.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted group fitness?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just like people, surprisingly. Like, and it's good when you get around people. I enjoyed going out. So it kind of, got to fulfill that sort of need. Helping people in bulk was faster than helping one-on-one. And it just made such a big difference in terms of like getting a community together and just helping them improve.
Glad you don't hate people. I'd be worried.
Yeah. Some people say it all the time. So
I like more than one person at a time. So I want to build
a bigger group of people that aren't assholes. And, you know, I think
if they want a bitch, they can talk to each other.
Exactly. Leave me out of it.
Had you met Dan Henderson at that time?
So when me and Elise went to one of his days, it was like the Master Functional workshop. And trying to promote his functional training courses and stuff. And I broke his heart. I didn't sign up then and there. And then he sent out an email about another workshop for the business stuff. And then I went to that and I was just like, systems. He showed me systems and everything lit up. He had the ladder to the to build the business and all those things. And I was like, oh, that's easy. We'll just follow that. So jumped on board and yeah, it was pretty good from there.
Yeah. So for those that are interested, Josh likes people. He doesn't like functional training.
I ended up doing the course.
Pull out a spreadsheet. Whoa.
Yeah. Frothing it.
Boing. So you did, so had the conversation with Elise and went, we should jump on this, do it with me. Was she PTing one-to-one as well?
No, she used to be a dancer and I was like, hey, just do your Cert 3. We'll put you in group classes. You know, you're great with people. We can make this work.
Was that when ThinkFit was born?
Almost. I think, I think we rebranded the weekend after we...
Still the hobby business.
No, it was actually called Bussy's Bodies, but people were saying like busy bodies and like couldn't get it right.
Bustin' Bodies?
Bussy's, like my last name, Bussy.
Oh, okay. Yep. Bussy Bodies. I got it. Oh,
I mean, busy bodies would have worked because you could have played with that niche, but I didn't think that smart then.
There was no ChatGPT at the time, so
I couldn't ask it to clarify.
It's completely relevant. And okay, so you've gone bus bodies. Like, I love it. You're like, yeah, people thought busy bodies. I'm like, busty? A niche was female. Then you've done functional training with Dan, broke his heart, didn't sign up. How was he then?
He was lovely. He was welcoming. He was keen to see me back. Kev was there as well. They were both there both times.
Yeah.
We did that 8-hour course thing and I just paid him full straight away on the day. I was like, yeah, let's go. Just all in.
Up front. And that was what, 5 years ago?
Oh, actually 6 or 7 now, I think.
Yeah.
When we were in those rooms, there was only 6 or 7 of us to start.
Was he more muscular then or smaller framed then?
I can't remember. He's still pretty muscly.
Still pretty muscly? Is he? Yeah. What's his build now versus before?
You know what? It'd be relatively similar. Yeah, he's definitely kept shape.
Okay, well, hey, Dan Henderson. Hope you're listening to this. Number one, still the same amazing man you are. Lovely. Number 2, we need to increase your volume in your upper body training.
He won't be able to run. He'd be like a
if we functional trainer, if we improve his posterior chain, his back, his cross sling will become more efficient and he might be able to run faster. Might be able to be faster. It's funny because I've trained Dan now for the last 6 months and I'm like, mate, has Marissa done a double take yet? And he's like, what do you mean? And then he asked Marissa and Marissa's like, nah. I'm like, bugger. He goes, more volume, Dan.
He's like, savage. She's so good.
Your arms don't look any different. Well, we're lifting more weight then, Dan.
Yep.
And you should do the next podcast, Dan. So back to Josh. We're bus bodies, not busty, not busy. Then we've done the program, functional, did a business one, and gone, like, we just like, I like Dan, let's learn about business.
Yeah, everyone in the room was fantastic. I mean, I was a bit surprised not having been in business before. And like, usually you think everyone's like really competitive and they don't want to share things, but everyone was so open about what they do. And I was just like, yeah, this is a mad community. Let's dive in. Yeah.
Had you done other programs before or was this like the first one?
I didn't even know things like this existed. I was like, yeah.
Business?
Yeah, so far out of the loop of everything. I think my only taste of business was like reading 4-hour work week.
Well, we're definitely working too much today then.
Definitely.
And was this when you kind of sat down, looked at the structure and the system and gone, yep, ThinkFit, or how did you rebrand?
It was many a dinner table talks with my sister and just like mapping out all these different names, connecting things. I did like better bodies, but when I found that pretty quickly on the internet, and I was like, damn it, can't have that one.
Yeah.
And then I just realized, like, all the people I've ever trained, the problem is usually in the mind. Like, yes, action can overcome mindset as well, but so many people just get stuck in their mind. And if we can just help them think fit and teach them what fit is, then they could live a healthy lifestyle.
And this Think Fit was born.
It was born, and the slogan behind me, become what you think, just tied in perfectly. So I think Tom Bilyeu was a massive sort of motivator for me around then, just in terms of mindset and just getting shit done.
Tom who?
Bilyeu, he owned Impact Theory, his YouTube channel, but he also had the nutrition bars, Quest Nutrition.
Oh, Quest, yes. What are some of the biggest takeaways for you from like these people?
I think just his relentless ability to mentally process everything, like just make everything logical. And he's like, if you can use numbers, that's your way forward, right? And I think it served me so well in business because like there's still times you get like you're frustrated because the numbers aren't working, but they can give you so much power and direction when you finally just sit down and just like, well, yeah, let's execute on this. This isn't actually as bad as what it is when you zoom out and stuff like that.
And the numbers aren't working. Damn it, Tony.
Damn you. Why don't spreadsheet gyms work?
So we've gone train lines, PT, to electrical lines.
Yep.
Then back to PT or into group fit. And you've been doing that now for 7 years?
Yeah, it would be about 7 years. Yeah. So I still did the power until we opened a gym. I was about 3 months into opening the gym, and then they moved me further away for work, and I was like, nah, screw this. So we just went all in on the gym, Elise and I.
Yeah. Wow.
Which was pretty good anyway. Like we grew by 100 members in like 4 months. That's when Facebook ads were a bit nicer, and everything was ticking over nicely.
Man, can you imagine knowing what you know now, like back then?
And we'll probably say the same in a few years, but at the moment, I don't feel like it.
So we've got lessons from those people, but I guess the questions we want to ask today is really understanding, Josh, and we've got the mantra, which is you've got the muscular man inside your body holding your mouth shut. Love it. So, on self-discipline and the pain of regret. Tell us more like you've got more than 10 years experience in the health and fitness industry. And we'll go through your whole, and if anyone's ever out near Think Fit, check them out. They've got a really cool consult form where it goes from, welcoming to a journey, movement assessment, identify goals, understand the gaps, and then finding the right fit for you. So I really do enjoy that there's a structure and a process there. Because if there wasn't, we wouldn't be talking, clearly. But, it's great having a system and a structure, but I guess for me personally, like, I always like people's goals, and I'm like, you're just not strong enough. Like, if we just got you moving better, feeling better, thinking better, like whatever goal you had in mind, like it's this big and you got to think bigger. So I tend to kind of go off script a little bit, and I'm like, just show me how you move. Like, yes, I can do all the orthopedic testing, but really let's start with the fundamentals, get you moving so you're feeling better, and then we start to build on it. For you, in your experience over these 10 years, what stands out to you when someone comes and sees you? And I'll flip it and go, and then how do you apply it to yourself?
Yeah, so this is forever evolving, right? Like the sheet you're looking at was straight out of COVID, and I just I realized there was a lot more people with lack of movement, so we're like the screening was far more important. Now we kind of verbally screen before people come in. Like if people have it makes sense, right? Does it hurt to sit down on the toilet? Like you just use things that are relative to them.
I pictured this. You will fit in with us.
No, we just want to know, like, do we need to take extra care when they come in? Because we don't want to put the class off balance, or we don't want to throw them in an environment where they don't necessarily feel comfortable. Our coaches are fantastic. Everything's super modifiable. We've got Tower X's, we've got boxes they can use. Like it is possible, but we know some people get really overwhelmed. So that process was absolutely amazing. Like, especially if we were selling like our higher tier programs to help them move quicker, better. And yeah, I thought it just made sense using that. These days, it's just hard to get people in. So we're just trying to integrate them as soon as possible. And then, like you kind of said, movement is an assessment. Every time they do a movement, if you notice something, you should be trying to help them out. And we're massive on like foam rolling and activations. So at the moment, we start our sessions, everyone foam rolls. We found a good little structure that most people have issues with. And then if anyone has any differences that they need to like mobilize differently, we can offer that. But it just helps people calm down, de-stress before they get into the session. And most of the time we'll find people's knees feel better. We'll find that their lower back starts to improve pretty quickly, and their shoulders as well.
Yeah, wow. Well, you know, a nice little rub at the beginning is always nice. Yes?
It is a self-rub, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you do ITB rolls?
No, they don't roll.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes, TFL, quads, glutes, and hamstrings here and there.
And why don't you roll the ITB band out? What's that about?
It's painful. It sucks. It doesn't do anything. No, it's just usually the problems up the chain we find. Like, yes, we can get a little bit more relief if we're a bit aggressive closer to the knee sometimes, but that's only in certain people, you know. So if it's just working down the system, we choose the highest target first, and then if they need to, we'll try further down with harder implements.
Harder implements.
Yeah, get the kettlebell in there. I don't know if you've done the rehab trainer course.
Yep.
Yeah, so just try different things and see if they get relief. If not, we're like, okay, well, it's definitely time to refer out, and we'll send them to our preferred physios.
And do you do much rolling of yourself?
I need to do it every day. I feel so good.
Every day?
Oh, like when I train.
Little self-rub every day. Yep, got it.
Yep.
That's recorded now. Have you always done the like rolling out, or did that come from you doing course or self-discovery?
Through doing the courses, right? So I think in some of dance courses, they had that introduction to mobility. Initially, that's what it started with. So I was one of the first people in a big box gym doing it out west, and people just staring at me like, what's this guy doing? I ended up spending more time warming up, but then having that amazing session.
Yeah.
And people were like in there for 20 minutes looking at me like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah, why isn't he maxing out on bench press right away?
Yeah, just ripping the cable flies. What's going on?
What is this warm up? Is that how I say it? Is that?
Wouldn't know.
No. So pretty much everything that you do is what you apply with the people that you work with. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you had anyone come to you like young, blonde haired, or they've lemon juiced their hair, bleach blonde, walked in and, you know, gone, I want to do a 12-week transformation? Have you had any of those in the last 10 years? And you're like, oh, it's me.
It's really hard to attract guys out here because they do want that. And like the things we promote don't look anything like that. Like, yeah, I could do that for people, but I just know the sustainability, and people are very good at ghosting these days. So it's not like they tell you they feel bad. They just disappear and just, you never hear from them.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of women, because mostly attract women in our gym, and Elise just has an honest conversation with them and says, look, if you're after that, we can definitely help you with that. But as you can see, no one in here is in like crop tops. Everyone's in like normal get up and just trying to be a better, if not best version of themselves. And then best doesn't necessarily mean the most shredded. Like, it's actually detrimental to your health in most people's cases.
Getting shredded isn't the answer.
I think it's almost one of those things though that people need to do to realize though. Like, it's very hard to show people otherwise. Like, you can share your story and they won't necessarily, they'll just get stuck in their head like, I need to be shredded.
Yeah.
And then when they try the process, and if they're open-minded enough, maybe they'll listen then. But yeah, we use a pretty cool article. It's called The Cost of Getting Lean by Precision Nutrition. And we just share that with them, and it just shows them the trade-offs essentially. And it helps them understand, okay, well, I can actually still be healthier and be more confident in everything, but I don't need a six-pack, and to avoid going out with friends and to eat out of a Tupperware container every single meal.
What were your biggest takeaways for you personally getting like shredded?
Girls don't care that much. More men care than girls, so it's probably a takeaway. Discipline can be trained. Like, you just, yeah, it's a muscle, and if you flex it more, you'll have more of it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be as strict as I think I thought I needed to be, if that makes sense. Like,
could have been stricter.
It could have been stricter, definitely. But just learning, like, when you have muscle, you can get away with a bit more.
Yeah.
I think before I was like musclier, I went to Thailand for 10 days one time, or 7 days, and put on 10 kilos. And then the next time I went, I actually lost weight. And it was just like the only difference was my body type, like shape.
One had lots of carbs, the other did not.
Well, yeah, I was still eating like 3 breakfasts, great breakfast buffet.
Any of those traits, do you still have any of those traits still?
Yeah, I definitely need to flex the discipline muscle more often lately. And I think that ties in with what you do with your body. So having a more relaxed approach. So we use a system, good, better, best. And probably just when you sit in those areas, you do definitely lose some of those traits. So probably sitting in good at the moment. And it's like you can tell the difference in your attitude towards things when you're not being better or your best. It just, yeah, you become what you're doing, you become what you're thinking about, right?
How do you manage that with the clientele that you have at the moment? Like, is there a way, like whatever, like for me, it's like I'm doing bench press. So I'm pressing or I'm doing dumbbell press and I rack it. You know, most people would like what we would do is like, how'd you feel? They're like, it was good. Could you do 1 to 2 more reps? They're like, I probably could do 5. Cool. We could progressively overload this. Are you with your, especially in a group, are you like, all right, everyone, we're all resting 30 seconds. Good, better, best. Where are we at? Okay.
That's where we're going to try to head. It's very difficult because psychology, like people think they're having a shit day and they think they can't push. And then some people will get angry if you try to push them, but other people will respond really well if you push them when they're having a shit day.
Yeah.
So you can't force people into buckets consistently. And it's finding a way to help them understand, like, pretty much what you said. We have rep ranges. It's like, hey, if you got to that rep range really easy, you should probably go up in weight. We'll joke with them, a bit of banter, like, and I'll tell them to go up. And I'm like, look, you got to learn about failure. And this is the best way to fail. Like, as long as you don't drop the barbell on your face, we should be pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I did it to about 5 people yesterday. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And I was like, well, I can't believe you haven't been doing it.
Are those people that have bad days due to wearables or personal feel?
Personal feel. Like we do have MyZone and Whoop for some people. And there's definitely some people I look at, they're barely moving and they're like in red in MyZone. I'm like, don't smash it today. Like you got to listen to your body to some degree. And it shows like a week or 2 later, if they don't listen, they fall apart. They injuries and their sleep just gets worse and worse.
For those that are tending to think fit, there's more of a meaningful conversation. So we're observing the people that come in, meaningful conversation, to understand where they are, and the frame, which is, where are you, good, better, best, and where can you make those improvements rather than putting them in a bucket. Just get a bigger bucket. And so you're tailoring to make sure they're being put in the right space. Like you're thinking about where there's the right fit. Funny, think fit. But you're making sure, because like a lot of people would go, like I remember ages ago for my partner, Kate, super stressed. And she just got put in the bucket of like, you stress too much, stop it. You're going to poorly under recover. And so then she started always thinking, oh, I'm too stressed. And then her body broke down versus you're like, well, no, let's see, we're nurturing these people to be better wherever they are.
And it's not a perfect process, right? Like, as I said, some people you can tell multiple times, they're still going to go through it. It's going to happen, but failure or like falling apart is a big lesson for some people.
Yeah.
But others just think they didn't try hard enough. And it's like, no, the hardness was the issue. But yeah, it's just the art of coaching and the science of coaching as well. They just tie in.
And I'm just looking at this form because my next question is movement analysis, movement assessment. And I've just read it. It's like the movement sin. My question was going to be like, so how do you perform a medial knee? I've just caught on it. You do a lunge, a hop, a squat, a push-up. Okay. So let's start with, how does your movement assessment go? And
yes.
like, how did you've got 10 plus years. Was it, you've gone through many coaches and assessments and gone, this is the best one I feel is the right fit? Or is it through the functional training and courses you've done with Dan and gone, I think that's a good system that we can use?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably mostly the same, right? Like it's just the most common issues that physios have seen. So this one in particular was from rehab trainer with Ulrich. And yeah, it was just a fantastic, simple approach. I mean, you just get someone to pump out like 4 lunges, a couple of squats, get them to rotate, do it again. And you just get a good overall view of the movements you're probably going to do in the class. And then if you notice anything bad, just a quick foam roll or a release, and they can move better. And then they're like, oh my God, like you can make me move better in a second. What can you do in a long run? And it's like, we'll change your life.
Well, actually, the next step is identifying the goals, not changing lives.
Same thing.
To bridge the gap. Yeah, okay. So you just get them out on the floor, get them to move, and really just see, like, you're really looking at a movement analysis, and then where can you progress them versus regress them.
Yep, to see if there's anything that's going to be an immediate holdback in the gym, and just be like, hey, make sure you let the coach know there is a chance he may forget. We'll let him know as well. But if it's something crazy, we'll just say, hey, just avoid this for a little bit and just do this instead. Massive benefit.
And do you reassess, or do you reassess yourself often? Like every 12 to 26 weeks?
No, like we said, it comes down to movement, right? So the movement is the medicine as well as the ability to assess. So for me, myself, when I'm training, if I don't feel like it was smooth, I'll just figure out where in the movement and then just incorporate some rolling in between the workout to make sure it improves. And if it doesn't, I'll just go see the physio.
Okay. What's a typical workout look like for you at the moment?
For me, I've been with Virtus, which is like a group training gym in Bondi. It's a bit closer than my gym out here in Minchinbury. And it's a split. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is strength. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is conditioning. I just try and hit all the strength, and then the conditionings are bonuses.
So never.
There is a reason, like, no, I do at least get one or two in. But I just noticed, because I train so early cognitively, it really affects my performance because I'm not good at holding myself back. I end up sending it in the conditioning sessions.
Sending it?
Like having a crack, like full max effort. Yeah. And it just cooks me for the rest of the day. And it's just not worth it because the main focus is business.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I love those. Still love conditioning and just be sitting there for an hour and going, I got to work. What's your favorite type of conditioning?
To be honest, I prefer a WOD at like CrossFit versus like jumping on a machine and doing like, I tried 98 for a little while and I love the idea behind their science and programming. But there was a session where we sat on the rower for 20 minutes and I was like, nah, I want to throw some weight around. I want to do some cool stuff.
Well, you were throwing your own body weight, come on. It's got to be more weight. Yeah, a 20-minute rower and that's what got you. You're like, no, I'm done.
And it was pacing and like I understood it and it's cool because it makes sense scientifically, but in terms of just engagement, I'd rather my workouts be a little bit more fun.
So we got three strength sessions, an opportunity for conditioning 3 times a week. And what is the type of split that you guys do at ThinkFit? Similar?
Yeah, so we recently changed. It was 3 days of strength. Monday, Tuesday was A, Wednesday, Thursday was B, Saturday was C. Now we've incorporated a daily sort of rhythm for strength, and people can access any of those days. What I did was I just got the 6 to 7 core functional movements, like your push, your press, your lunge, and then I just made the first component of each of one of them like the main one, so that biggest strength. The other is a bit hypertrophy, and then just ran it through each day. So it kind of rotated and people would end up different. And then we do that in 2-week cycles now, so people can see progress each week. Keeps them excited, engaged. And the next 2 weeks will be like moved over one day. So if someone typically comes on a Monday and it's always squats, next time it might be like push press or something like that. 6
to 8 main movements. So would you rotate? So for example, Monday, you would have 8 rotations before you go back to squats if someone was there every Monday?
Yeah, it would be just about that. Haven't got that far yet, but it makes sense in terms of just giving different people experience. And like they'll still get experience to squat maybe next day, but it's probably going to be in like the Metcon part of the workout. Yeah. And then each other day it's going to get closer to the top again.
Ooh, okay. Programming rabbit hole. Fortunately, we don't have hours at our disposal.
Yeah.
Because I am geeking back out on programming. So
we don't have any machines either. So you are the machine at our gym. It's Elisa's favorite line. But we might integrate them down the track, but we're just finding like just human movement and getting people better at that is like better than throwing someone in a rower who has like lower back pain and then not knowing why it's always sore.
You and the rower, you really just don't want rowing machines, eh?
Not a big fan.
Oh, I love that. You are the machine. I will commence chest flies. Thank goodness I'm not a member at your gym. I would take the mickey out of it. What is the future of ThinkFit? Or what is the future of Josh?
Future of us, I guess we just really want to help people change the way they see health and fitness, right? Like we live in an area where it's just not common. In Bondi, where I live, sorry, the gym's in the area where it's not common. Where I live in Bondi, it's just complete contrast. Thousands of people out walking in the morning, swimming in the ocean, training in gyms, they're all packed. And I think they fundamentally understand the importance of moving your body versus out west, it's just like taboo. It's like, I don't know, they think you're upper class if you exercise, or they just have such bad connotations around it. So our goal is to change the way people perceive it. We did a presentation locally. There was sandwiches and fruit on the table, and they're like, "Oh, you can't see that we're eating this." I'm like, what do you think? We're human. Like, we don't eat these unique things. Like, it's still somewhat relevant to what you eat. We just don't have maybe as much of the other stuff.
What?
Yeah, like, I don't know what they think we eat, but they just have this warped perception that we're freaks. And the things we do, they just don't comprehend that it could just be a simple process to be a healthier and fitter version of themselves.
So they didn't want you to eat the fruit or the sandwiches?
They didn't want us to eat it or like see that they were eating it. It's healthy, like it's all right.
Except for yellow bananas. Oh, the worst. Game over.
So
potassium you'll get. Whoa.
Yeah.
Increasing muscle pump. Whoa.
So it's just, and it's sad that that's the reality. And I think it's becoming more aware, like the fitness industry over the last few years has just smashed people with HIIT. And like, we're kind of guilty of it too. We had a boot camp and that's what people wanted. So we fed them what they wanted, but tried to inspire them to move to strength.
Mm-hmm.
But we've definitely learned our lesson, and now we're trying to, just incorporate a lot more strength to support people. As we said, people are super stressed, and I think that's the best way to help them still achieve a good workout, but build resilience as well.
There's a gap there, but obviously with 10 years experience, there's been a shift, right?
Huge.
Like, you're starting to have the conversations with people now. Yeah, okay, don't see them eating fruit or sandwiches. So, maybe 10 years ago, carbs were the devil, but so back up there, carbs are still the devil. And
you still find it, right? Like, I guess generational trauma, like parents always like smashing the treadmill, doing all the diets that the parents would have seen. And you talk to a lot of young females and they still have what their parents were saying to them their whole life.
How much do you think AI is going to play a role in that?
I think it's a long way off. I think it still just needs to be us doing our job, teaching people, getting them incorporated in places where they don't feel intimidated. And, even for those places where people go, where it is like full on, like, I think they just burn out and stop as well. So it's not healthy in the long run for anyone.
Well, come on, if you were to make a prediction.
Sorry, it is there. We do use it through epigenetics, because the epigenetic stuff is AI has ran through like hundreds of thousands of formulations and ratios to understand the human body better. But you still need a coach to help you go through it, because the information is just like, some of the information we're learning is so confronting to what people have learned their whole life around health and fitness that integrating it and overcoming limiting beliefs, you need someone to support you on that.
How many years will it take AI and ChatGPT to fully understand the human body and help people improve their health and well-being? Go. Well, ChatGPT's answer says, predicting the exact timeline of AI to fully understand the human body and significantly impact health and well-being is challenging due to the complex nature of both AI development of human biology. Well, human biology hasn't evolved that much. However, AI, including technological advances like ChatGPT, is rapidly advancing and already plays a significant role. Blah, 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 blah. It could be seen likely in the next decade. All right, 10 years. There's our prediction. Do you disagree?
Well, like I said, I think it's already transformed. We've worked with 60 people leveraging AI. So I guess it is happening now.
On, give us a timeline. Nah.
Well, they've been doing it for the last 20 years. It's when people want to listen, right? So
hang on, they've been doing it for the last 20 years.
Yeah, leveraging AI to understand epigenetics in people.
20 years?
Yeah. Not in the form of ChatGPT, like they have their own neural nets and things have been around since 1990, I think.
34 years.
It's been around a long time, right? It's just not in the capacity that we think of it today.
But the public could fully access.
Well, even Alan, like the godfather of AI or whatever, was like 1960s or 70s talking about it. Like he had a fundamental understanding of it, but he didn't know how to put it together.
Yeah, wow. And this is why we brought Joss on, because we could definitely go into more rabbit holes. So we are wrapping up with just Think Fit, understanding the company itself, and obviously we'll get Elise on for the next one. But I guess to summarize everything, if someone's thinking about improving the way they think of their health and well-being and wanting to make it fit for them, I guess, how would you summarize it? And what would be like the mantra or the statement to just to remind people it's okay to make a mistake and get back into it? Like, or what's the mantra you live by? Like, is it still suffer pain of discipline or pain of regret, or has that changed?
It's actually changed quite a lot. Like generically, it would be progress over perfection, and just let people know it is a journey and you can't escape health. It is your life. So
you will sign up with Think Fit.
Yeah. One day, or at least hopefully we touch you, like not touch you, but like help
and
you.
That's wrap.
Yeah. Inspire you to understand fitness differently. But now knowing what I know around the epigenetics, I just know, yeah, it's unique to the individual, and communicating them through a lens to help them, like for you, like that saying we just said, that discipline thing, that's very relative to my health type in terms of the dopamine and stuff. So when you can understand the other health types and what they respond to best, it's actually a unique approach for certain individuals.
And how can someone get in touch with you? They're like, I like the cut of his jib, liked his blonde hair and his transformation, and I like the model of Think Fit.
Yeah, so you can touch base with me on thinkfitco.com.au or our Instagram _thinkfit_co. And then if you want to find me on socials, Josh_thinkfit.
Yep, Josh Bus, not Busty or Busy.
Josh Bus. Double decker because it's double S.
Double decker because I'm built. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into that episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also to share so we can help more people. Now with your pen, you've probably written down heaps of things, but the things like myself, like there's blank pages, but pages, got lots of notes. What are the top 3 that you got out of today's episode? If 3 is too much, action on one thing and just see how it goes for you for this week. And make amendments and adjustments so you're constantly improving and refining and moving forward in your health, your training, your life. If you ever get stuck, reach out to us at info@vitruvianhealth.com.au. Always here to help. Till next time, adios amigos.